evening.
Hi.
Hi. Good evening. I'm getting a bit of feedback from your. Can you turn your volume down? Good evening. Thanks everyone for joining us on this wonderful Tuesday evening. As a bit of a preparation for tomorrow's preview of tomorrow's game against Newcastle, when we see the boys go all the way up to the wet and windy Tyneside. I don't know how many of you are looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to watching Everton. I don't know whether I'll see it in 90 minutes. How are you, Toffee Dan?
Yeah, I'm just good. All this distance away from you.
Oh, wow. I'm getting a lot of feedback from you there.
What are we going to do about
that? Can you plug some headphones in? I'm going to have to mute you. No, I'm going to have to mute you a bit. Can you stick some headphones in? Good evening, everyone joining us. I'm sorry about this. We've got like technical issues left, right, and centre. Feedback from, in case you don't know, everyone, Toffee Dan is my dad. Ryan is otherwise indisposed. Dan is busy. Jeff is away doing other stuff. I am afraid, and I don't have my handset with us. It's a complete shambles here. So thanks everyone for joining us. On this Tuesday, we're just going to do a quick preview. It is hilarious. Thanks. Hiya, Mark. Hiya, Jerry. Good evening. Jerry seems to think keep Mason Holgate, although it's going to be a discussion point because apparently he's back and he's included in the squad. Mina. I'll just sort of touch on that. Thanks everyone for joining us. You know, the usual. Please do like and subscribe. Hopefully we're not going to have a bit of a heated argument, the same as Jeff and Dan in the match reaction. But I think I'll put that down to Everton's performance. It is always good to be back on here. And I'm just waiting for my dad now. God knows what he's doing. Wow. How many of you? Hi, Michael. Hi, everyone. I don't know how many of you might have seen Frank Lampard's press conference. It was a bit more muted than Eddie Howe's. I've got to say that. I did watch it. I was a little bit distracted scrolling through the news there, and he's got some interesting points. There's talking about, obviously, won't go too much into it because I'm just monologuing at you. But please do send your comments in. I won't address the penalty because I'm pretty sure there's a whole range of emotions about that. I've stuck it in a new poem, and I'm of the mindset that's probably similar to Frank Lampard, but just not quite what he said, which was it was smart play from Harry. Did he initiate contact? Well, it was probably just about a penalty. Good evening, Luke. School of Science is joining us. It's lovely to have you all on here. I do appreciate that. Yeah, so Frank was talking in his press conference. Obviously, there's positive signs. There's stuff behind the scenes. And there were 3 difficult matches playing United, Spurs away, and now Newcastle away, which I think is, you've got to bear in mind that they are some difficult matches from some teams that have really pushed on. Certainly United are in a better position mentality-wise than they were. Spurs are always up there. And Newcastle really have been spending their money well, and Eddie Howe is undeniably a good manager. They got a decent result against City with the 3-3. They pushed on from last year, and I don't know whether we're going to get that same sort of joined. Basil, are you there? So anyway, there's no sign of my dad, so I just feel like I'm going to go into it. Right, so, well, Everton are on a bit of a down form. Yeah, David, that is a good point. Dan's gone to Bastard to buy some headphones. Well, at this rate, I don't know what he's doing. I'll see if I can get some headphones and save him the trouble. Peter seems to think he's a bit peeved over the penalty. I can see why it was given, but Harry definitely forced the contact. Yeah. When you get a player that, like Pickford, that saved the ball, where's he going to go? He's not going to become transparent Oh, goodness. So, well, firstly, should DCL start? Well, Lampard brought it up in the press conference, and he's walking this fine line between, do you think that it's worth risking further injury or potentially him overstretching himself when he's not ready? But if he's back in training and he's ready for the squad, you might argue that, well, where is he? Is it going to be putting too much of a stress on the team where we play a different type of football?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Jan. Right, what's going on?
Mabsy.
All right.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Good.
It's been a long time, mate.
It has. How you been?
I've been bloody busy. I've been really good. But I tell you what, it is absolutely great to be back on the channel having a chat. It was good to speak with Daniel the other day. It's good to speak with you, mate. Are you back in the country?
Yeah. But, well, I was only in Wales. I wasn't actually away. I'll pop away, just a little break. But
are you going tomorrow? I hear Daniel might be going.
No, unfortunately not. No, too high for me. I can't honestly. That away end's disgusting.
So it's good to speak with you, mate. Are you back in the country?
Yeah, massive echo. I was only in Wales. I wasn't actually away. I'll pop away just a little break. But is anyone listening?
I've got to say, we're getting feedback again. I think from my dad, possibly. But we're joined again. Hey, Dan, Mabsy, we're all here.
Right, massive echo. Yeah, so is a problem with your dad? Anyway, so where were we?
Well, I've just sort of done all the introductions, done the welcomes, and I was talking about the wonderful, the wonderful penalty decision. Just sort of recapping Frank's press conference.
It was an easy. It's hard, isn't it? It's a soft penalty, but it is a penalty. As much as I hate to say it, it's a penalty. In my opinion.
Tell you what, I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to nip and go and get some headphones to see if I can resolve my part on this. So we're just going to run through. Have you guys seen the? Hello, Dan.
How are you doing, mate? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect, fine.
Good.
It's Toffee Dan's setup that's causing the problem. Because I've muted his mic and we're not getting the feedback now.
What is going on?
Right. Shambolic. It's Tuesday night. Right. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
The benefit of live TV. So, Dan, did you think it was a pen then?
Me? No.
Did I think it was a penalty?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think you can easily say that Kane was looking for it, but Pickford smashing his head into his leg is going to give a big chance of a penalty, isn't it?
Of course.
It's stupid by Pickford. Absolutely stupid mistake. Like, he made one mistake, Butterfingers didn't catch it, and then he knew he made a big mistake, so he come out all guns blazing and made another mistake trying to save himself. Do you know what I mean? I'm over that now. What do you think? What did you think? Did you think it was, or did you think it wasn't?
I think it was. It was a soft one, but it was a penalty. Unfortunately, I hate to say it. It was a silly mistake. It is what it is. But you know, we played well. I think defensively, we defended well in that game. I think, Tottenham didn't really look a threat until then, to be honest. But then hang on.
Hello, I am back.
Right. I think the problem was that the Twitter feed was on at the same time.
Right, okay, is that so we resolved it then?
We are.
Should be.
Happy days. You okay, Toffee Dan?
Yeah, pretty good. And yourselves?
Yeah, sounds
good.
Thank you, gentlemen, for rescuing me from this tomato fiasco.
Is it still echoing now? Are people in the comments? How does this sound now? Are we all sounding good?
I'd left Twitter on, so I was on double.
Well, that explains it then. So it was coming back on, so through. Happy days.
It's always going to go wrong sometimes.
Maybe I don't even need these earphones, but we'll leave them in.
Right. Oh my God, we've got a full house. Yeah. Kevin seems to say Pickford messed up, but Harry Kane took advantage and dived. Yeah. I mean, I think as much as we're going to discuss it, and I know you touched on it in the reaction. Well, touched on it is a polite way to say it.
That's what I was just going to say. I'm not really. After last time, I think I want to move on from this game, from the big argument that me and Jeff had about last game. I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, look, it's not going to change it. Premier League aren't going to turn around and go, right, let's replay that one.
Get that game away from me. It was frustrating in so many different ways.
Right, Julian's just pointed out, and for posterity on the video, I am going to make it out for there so that it is, and I'll maybe save that as the thing forever, the preview. Daniel had it on in the background as well as being on the stream. Yeah. Right. So from that, from carrying on with the press conference, Lampard touched on a very interesting point. He's talking about how both the front line, seen as we're probably not going to see. We're not going to see DCL start. And Mopé and McNeil are both new. The defence is somewhat in flux, although I think we're a lot more solid. And, you know, as he said, he pointed out about the fight back against United. Onana is a prime example of we've got more presence and dominance in midfield this season, which allows us to sort of give that delivery and not capitulate and allow teams to just walk through us as they did last season. So although we might not have the standard that we want or expect or need to comprehensively win and go ahead in games, you know, we do have a much better midfield. Now, how do you think that's going to play against Newcastle?
Yeah, did you say that DCL's not starting again?
Probably not. I mean, from what...
This is getting a joke, isn't it? This is actually getting a joke. I
think he's... I haven't listened to Lampard's press conference, so this is where I might have had to listen to this. It might put me in the wrong situation, but I think he's going to start with the way he's been tweeting all day today, like with the guns up and everything, like he's ready. I don't know why. He's tweeted about 3 times today. But I didn't listen to the Lampard press. If Lampard said he wasn't, then that means he isn't. But with the way he's been tweeting today and responding,
he did say it's a very difficult situation to put in, but he didn't give a definitive answer. It was just
why is it a difficult situation? He's a footballer. At the end of the day, if you fit on the bench, you're fit to start. You need to start. These games we need to be winning. We need to be picking up points.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Kevin makes a good point. He said Jeff said it best when he was on last about this game. We're not going to get relegated, and we're not going to win any honours here. We have to try and win more home and away games. You know, we're a project, and as Lampard said, everything's sort of still in flux because he's pointed out about how we're hardworking. But yeah, if you're not getting DCL, you'd like to imagine that. Who else do we have up front? If Mopé or someone up front's injured and we're drawing or we're behind or there's a chance to win, maybe he's there because of the eventuality that he doesn't want to strain him for 90 minutes. But if we get an injury, you know, he's got to bring somebody on. He might just be not quite fully matched 90 minutes fit. But then, do you have a sort of a different opinion on that, Mabsy? I mean, you've been watching football longer than me, not as long as my dad, and I mean, my dad talks about days of no substitutes or just the one substitute.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you always play your fittest 11. At the end of your strongest 11, surely to God. And games like these, unless he is the DCL is wanting out and they're just trying to keep his value. That's the only thing I can think of. He doesn't start. It's perplexing me every time. Why is he not starting? Why is he not starting? At the end of the day, he's been back weeks now. There's no excuse.
Well, I mean, having said that, it might be that he's recovered a lot sort of ahead of schedule. He might have been sort of recovered to an extent earlier than, it could have been that he'd expect him to only just start to be back in training now. Dave's made a good point. Did anyone notice against Spurs that he had his leg heavily strapped? So it could be, I mean, I did notice some of that. So it could be that. I mean,
but then it's not, as to say, the old adage is if you're not fit, then you shouldn't be playing.
Yeah, but then I mean, so maybe moving on from that, because I think the proof will be in the pudding tomorrow when we see the lineup and the bench, and if he comes on, how well he plays. Because he's obviously going to come back at some point. Do you think that demands a change in formation then, considering maybe the positive signs from James Garner? I know Nana's been great. Do you think it might somebody that's got that united spirit, that sort of that you get the heavy hitters, because obviously he came through the youth ranks there. Do you think there's an argument to say to bring Garner on as well and sort of transition to just Mopé up front and have 5 midfielders instead of the 2 really wide wing? I don't know. It's any thoughts on that?
Can I just say, sorry, I do trust him, Frank, by the way, just to make it very clear. I'm not being negative, but it's just baffling me that why, you know what I mean? Sorry, but you know what I mean? Sorry, hope you don't think I'm being too negative. I'm not trying to be.
Yeah.
I think it all depends on who he starts up top. If he plays Calvert-Lewin, then he definitely needs some service. Otherwise, he's just wasting his time playing him. If you're going to play Mopé, then I guess you're going to keep it on the ground and use his physicality. I'm not that Calvert-Lewin isn't physical, but it's a different kind of threat. He's more of a threat in the air. He's more mobile.
I mean, do you think do you think Gordon will be starting again?
Yes, but he needs to improve on his recent performances.
I've got to say, Dan, with a shirt like that toffee blue, that is quite a quality shirt. Yeah, have you got? You're just going to sit there letting the shirt speak for itself?
Yeah, that's what. I was just listening to what you lot were saying. I've got in my head that Calvert-Lewin's. I don't see why he'd tweet the muscle I'm ready emoji if you're not fully fit and you're not playing that much and you're in doubt. Surely you wouldn't tweet that unless you've had conversation with Lampard that you're going to be starting. I can only think that Calvert-Lewin's going to be starting this game. Could be wrong. The big question is, how do you get Calvert-Lewin, Mopé and Gordon all in the squad and maybe Gray? It's hard. I can't figure the formation out. It's got lions on it. Look, I can't figure the formation out. I really can't, because I don't know what to do. I really don't. I'm getting confused because I started off really happy with this team. Now I don't know how to play it, because last game we played. It was really weird because I thought we set up for a 4-3-3, but when I analysed the game, it was 4-4-2. It was Mopé and Gray playing as a 2 up top, Iwobi on the right, Onana and Gay, and then McNeil on the left. But Iwobi was kind of playing on the right, but told to play centre mid as a 3 when you can. So it's just Lampard's got to set up, for me, really confusing. And the fact I don't know how we're set up or what's our best formation is a little bit worrying, because you need to know what you're going to do. Otherwise the players ain't going to know what they're going to do, and they are playing the last 2 games very confused, and we don't know what style we are. Other than, our defensive work was good. We sat back, we defended, but that we're always going to do that well. But when we turn the ball over, we look completely confused. I thought personally, because we don't know what to do when we turn the ball over. We kind of pass it to the midfield. The midfield pass it to the defence. It's a long hoof up to Mopé, who's not going to hold the ball up that well, because that's not his strength. So
because he's 4 foot tall.
Yeah, so it's all kind of confusing for me. How do you feel on that, just from what I've said?
No, you do make a very good point. There were times when I was thinking, great, we could be on the counter here. We could do something really incisive. We could hit them on the break. We could explode this. And then all of a sudden the ball's held up and they're not playing the... I mean, okay, sometimes there's a pass and you're thinking, okay, it's not 100% pass, but it's not a 50-50 ball. You're talking like it's a 75% chance that he's going to get through to it, but at least take the chance, push them, because then if you push him in and he's going to play the ball back and you keep closing them down, you're putting them under the pressure.
I do think we massively missed Anthony Gordon last game. I've seen him get some stick, but I think when you've got just Gray as the fast attacker, McNeil isn't a fast attacker. When you've just got Gray, all the pressure's on Gray. When you've got Gray and Gordon as two fast attackers, it makes their defence a lot more worried. I don't think it worries them.
We've mentioned that before. I mean, Dave said he thinks he should drop Gray and play Gordon instead in that position, which counters kind of what you're saying, but it sort of justifies the inclusion of Garner to an extent. Garner, Onana, Garner, and Iwobi. I mean, why not include Gray in that as well and have 5 in the middle? Am I missing someone out there and have Mopé up front? But Dave. I know what you're saying, because when you put too much pressure on Gray, he's not always got the kind of right goods in all the situations. I mean, Robbie, hi Robbie, it's good to have him on as always. But he's like, how do we lose our way past those last 2 games? What's gone wrong? I don't know.
I just looked at Kevin Crass' comment about we need draws, not losses. But the problem is, you can really graft and get 3 draws. That's 1 win is the same as grafting all those 3 games. I think we need to win.
I think we're struggling without Patterson. I think I'm not going to criticise Coleman, but clearly that gives us a different set of options and problems. And I think we're probably gone into our shell a little bit, having lost Patterson, trying to protect Coleman a little bit. Do you not agree?
I do understand as well, because Coleman doesn't have the legs. He might have the experience, but when you've got Tarkowski and Cody that have that kind of experience that you'd expect in the centre backs, there's something reminiscent about their spirit for me in like Jagielka and Lescott. I don't know whether you feel that there's this sort of solidity there. But I mean, in terms of who we're going to play, though, I've got to apologise in advance for shaming him like this. But Ryan sent me a message saying, "Do we drop Pickford for Begovic?"
No, yeah, I see the argument, isn't it? Because obviously the Newcastle fans do get to him.
Yeah.
It's tough. That is a tough question. I think I'd still go with Pickford. I still would. Only just.
Right. Robbie and Kevin seem to agree with you. Oh my God, are you usurping me off this channel? Just making better picks than me.
He's going to be the next poet, yeah.
He bloody isn't. Yeah, I mean, Newcastle undoubtedly have some bloody good players in there. They've got, but although Alan Saint-Maximin's out, isn't he?
Yeah, I think we've got very, very lucky, and we've been lucky and not taken advantage of it, because we played Man United when they had Europa, and we should have took advantage of that because they should have been a bit like jet lagged. We played Spurs when they had Europa, didn't really take advantage of that. Now we come against Newcastle when they haven't got the £60 million striker, that new one that they've got, the Swedish one. Isaac is his name, something like that.
He's not playing either.
He's not playing, and then like you say, the Maximil not playing is absolutely massive, because I feared him a lot. So I don't think Newcastle, very, very, very good team, but I don't think you could play Newcastle at a better time. Seriously, with these 2 players missing.
I mean, was it 0-0 against United? What was the game? I haven't seen any match of the day.
0-0. It was 0-0, but they should have won. Really? Newcastle. Well, it was 50-50. Newcastle should have had a penalty. I've seen that. But then Ronaldo, they said he should have had something as well. But we lost against Man United. They drew against Man United, so it's going to be a very hard game. I don't like to big Newcastle, a bit of rivalry with us now, but I think their manager is doing absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
I think he's a cracking manager. He doesn't, where our team at the minute is sitting back and not showing some intention to go out and do our game. Newcastle are doing that when I've watched Newcastle play. They just go out. They did it against Man City when I watched them against Man City, and they got a draw. They gave Man City a proper game, and Man City, you normally sit back like we did our last 2 games and get scared. But Newcastle against Man City only just got a draw out of that. Newcastle, they just went in straight away. That's what I want us to do. And I want us to go, not worry about their game. Because if this is what we do too much now, and it does my head in, we sit back and see what they're going to do. I want us to go out and do what we're going to do so they can worry about what we're going to do. Do you know what I mean? To attack. We're not playing. We defend good. We've got Tarkowski and we've got Cody. I'm buzzing with that. But if you've got 2 good centre-backs now, why not take a risk and go and attack? Because with those 2 as centre-backs and Garner Gay as a number 6, that should give you the opportunity to go forward now. But it seems we're still sitting back. We're like in a shell, but we can grow. Do you know what I mean? It's like the caterpillar and the butterfly.
Lampard made that point, and it's about organic growth into strength on the pitch. He made the point in the press conference that we might not be pushing forward as much, but we need to be secure. We can't push too much if we don't. We can't push too much until we've solidified, the defence, the midfield, and if we're still in flux, and as Jeff might say, I wouldn't call him an apologist, but he's very understanding, and I don't think we've got the full team cohesion. Kevin's literally just jumped in and said this. We panic. And we've got to stop it. They crap their knickers whenever we lose the ball. I don't think.
But this is the thing that I like was thinking. If you think right, this team when they played like against Man United, we've lost possession, panicked, and conceded. If you give in then and just defend, you go backwards. Try again. Don't say to Iwobi, don't keep the ball and take risky passes. Don't say to Onana, don't take risky passes, because the only way we're going to score goals is those passes that break the lines of the opposition. Lampard was one of the best at it, and I don't know why he's not pushing our team to do it. You need someone in midfield that's like a baller, like Ericsson or like Prowse or someone like that, that's going to do that driving pass forward and get us on the attack, because all you'll do is you'll pass the ball to someone and they'll pass it back. You need to do the way you pass it forward. That's what I think anyway.
It ends up going back to the defence, and admittedly we have a few minutes or 5 minutes of possession, but we don't drive into the box. There's no real incisive play. We don't push, and we don't play the smart football. I'll tell you what, I went to watch Everton women on Sunday. And admittedly, they were beaten 3-1. It probably should have been 2-1, but Chelsea got a late goal, and Chelsea, undeniably, Chelsea women are a very good team, right? But the Everton women were playing more football with a more of a sort of tactical brain. They're playing it into areas and then running back and watching for an overlap. And this sometimes our football seems very formulaic. And Dave makes this point. Sorry, mistakes have crept back into our game the last 3 games. I don't know whether it's to do off the back of, Idrissa Gana Gay. Eugene seems to say, and I don't know whether this will be met with derisory laughter, but I wouldn't necessarily go against it. I think Everton need to play Tom Davies against Newcastle United tomorrow night.
He's not going to get in.
Oh, shut up, I love Tom.
Wow. Actually.
He's not going to get in.
He's got a bit more energy than perhaps Gray, but it's a different position.
Well, then put Iwobi back on the wing and allow him to drop back possibly. If needed.
I'm not sure why the Garner shouts are all about. That's James Garner, because he hasn't obviously had an opportunity yet to show what he's made of. But maybe people are just a bit dissatisfied with the way things are at the moment, so they're calling for James Garner rather than based on any specific knowledge.
I think the thing with Garner is James Garner. I think if you look at Onana, he's fast and strong, but not that technical on the ball. Same as Gay and same as Iwobi is probably the most technical one out of the lot. But Garner, he is the person that is probably going to pass it forward in a decent way. I just generally think that we're not playing that good in midfield and we just want change. And Garner isn't part of us not playing well in midfield. So sometimes they just want him for that reason, if you know where I'm coming from. Sometimes they just want change.
I think we've only got one really truly strong midfielder, and that's probably Onana. And he's still, getting used to the Premier League. I wouldn't describe any of the other midfielders as a physical, great deal of physical presence. Not like a Højbjerg for Spurs or Fabinho for that lot. A man who can literally physically dominate the middle of the park, and that's such an important thing to have. They're a rare breed,
Well,
Dan, you're a hardcore footballer. You love your football. I know you do. And why do they like the movement is something that frustrates me. Like to be good at passing the ball in centre midfield, you need options. I watched Arsenal do it the other day. Don't like to big another team up, but Arteta has got them. Moyes had us doing it at times, passing the ball in triangles. You look at Baines and Pienaar. We used to play this more.
Leon Osman.
Yeah, Osman as well. We need to have three midfielders that are crying to be on the ball. I want the ball. So when Garner Gay gets the ball, he looks up. I know Nana's moved into space for him and Iwobi's moved into space for him. So he's got two options. That's how you become a passing team. And then you pass and move. We get the ball and Garner Gay looks up and there's no movement. The last game, the movement in front of him was poor. That's what I thought. And if there isn't no movement, you're going to pass back. And I feel like that's where we're going wrong because there's no movement for the player on the ball. So you pass back to the defenders. And I think if you pass back to the defenders, it doesn't look like good. Yeah, you're starting again. Yeah, Ryan, perfect. Yeah.
That's exactly, that kind of touches very similar, at least in my mind, and I hope Dave agrees with what Dave said here. We don't have a goal-scoring midfielder. We don't get enough goals throughout the whole team. We rely so heavily on our forwards. But those the big scoring goals in midfield is reliant on the midfielders going forward and being on the edge of the box, having a shot, overlapping, being there for the second ball on the end of a cross, all those kind of things. And Kevin's given a big credit to Dave Weston there, referring to him as Dave Watson. But yeah, it becomes that point in midfield. And again, Robbie's made a similar point that other teams must enjoy playing us. We don't seem to offer a lot currently. We're all buzzing and optimistic, but we're back to feeling shit. I could literally be back in the bottom three tomorrow. I mean, at least it's still only the first sort of quarter of the season.
It's all about deception. Everton haven't got enough deceivers in the side. Players who can, find a pass, turn a defence with one great pass. But
it's football brain, though, isn't it? I think they've got the physicality. I think they've got some of the technical ability. But reading the game and knowing the game, the De Bruyne, the one that sees stuff before you can do it, like Scholes did it as well. We haven't got a player, a proper footballer that just controls the game with his brain and that reads the game a couple of seconds. Our midfielders have got that, but they haven't got the brain. That's what I feel like they struggle with. But obviously, Lampard needs to push that into him. The thing that frustrates me is that I think we've got some cracking players. I know some people moan and their go-to line is, we need another transfer window. And this is why I argue, because I say, deal with what you've got. We've brought in some new players. We still should be doing good with some of the players that we've got, because we have got good players in areas. You need to use those good players to play well. I still feel Onana isn't playing no more than 60%. We need to get more out of him because we're not playing to his strength. Same with Garner Gay and same with Iwobi. I don't think...
I'm going to jump in there and suggest that Newcastle are going to be a tough team. I think that rather than hold on, if we want to play, I wouldn't say optimistic football. If we want to play something and try and steal, but I want to be positive, but I also realise that it's going to be tough. For a midweek game, Newcastle, they're doing well, and we have had a bit of a dip in form. So shall I just throw out my completely left field lineup and go for it there, and we can sort of maybe take it in turns, right? For me, as has been brought up in the comments, Pickford has matured. He's definitely, I mean, a few mistakes, as Lampard said, you can't hold a player fully responsible and crucify him for just a small mistake when he's the backbone, and such a small mistake can be critical in a game. So I'm going to Pickford in goal. The back four mostly speaks for itself. Miko on the left wing, Tarkowski, Cody, and I'm going to stick Iwobi at right back. If he's good enough to play in midfield and on the wing and anywhere else, and if he can cover it when we have a substitute at right back, stick him there. Put him at right back, and he'll have the option of having the sort of the vision and the incisiveness and the speed and the ability to go on the overlap and cross balls in. And I'm going to say defensive midfield, stick Gay and Garner, start Garner. Have Onana in the middle, supporting Mopé and driving forward, and a bit of a target man to nod down the second ball. Gordon on the left, Gray on the right, Mopé up front.
Well, I'm going to go even more left field.
Oh, what are you going for?
This is one thing I will say. Hit me with yours now, Dan. But one thing I will say on yours, Dan, is I've read so many tweets today saying Iwobi playing on the right the last two games is the reason he hasn't played well. His position, he is our most creative player. You can tell by his stats. He's got the best stats for creativity. So why play him on the right hand side and take away all his game when he plays better centre mid? That's the tweets that I've been seeing all day today.
I'm going to drop Coleman and play Holgate, and I'm going to bring in Gordon and drop Gray, and I'm going to onto the bench, and I'm going to play the back four. Back four with Holgate instead of Coleman. I'm going to play Garner and Davis, and I'm going to play Iwobi, Gordon, and Onana behind Calvert-Lewin. Freshen it up. There you go.
Sorry, Garner and Davies.
Garner and Davis, Iwobi, Onana, and Gordon, and Calvert-Lewin up front.
Well, yeah, I'd love to have Calvert-Lewin up front. I just don't know whether he's going to be fit.
Well, we seem to think he might be, so.
Dave Weston has agreed with you, even starting Tom Davies. What is going on in the world?
It was a wide one as well, to be fair. So
I think it's just a bit more pace in that side that I'm putting out.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Peter seems to disagree with me putting Iwobi at right back. I mean,
Yeah.
I do understand where he's coming from, in that I was assuming that we wouldn't have DCL up front. And I think if you can work backwards from there, maybe you might disagree with it, but you could probably see my reasoning behind it. Because if we wouldn't trust Holgate in that position, and we don't want to mix up the centre backs. Right, okay, all right. All right, DCL's been tweeting today.
Right, guys, I'm going to have to shoot, so I'll see you later. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right, Mabsy. Thanks for joining us. Sorry you've been gone. Oh, he's gone.
Is the Thug playing for Newcastle tomorrow?
What, Shelby?
Yes, it's John Shovel or whatever his name is.
Less of the slander on the channel.
it's all right. Yeah, mate, I've got the game up soon. Get ready. I've got to go to this game, so
Have you?
Got to sort it out. Well, I managed to get a ticket, but I'm crazy. I am. I went and got a ticket and paid for a ticket, but I haven't got the funds to go to the game for transport. So I've got to. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I've got the ticket though. I've got and paid got the ticket basically, but I just need to sort the train out or the car or something.
What train?
Eugene.
Well, I'm on the sat nav from Newcastle. I'm about an hour and 20 or something like that. So it's either train or car, but I don't know if my car will make it. So we'll see.
Eugene,
bit of a headache.
Eugene agrees with you that he thinks Lampard's going to play Holgate against United, against Newcastle tomorrow night. You've got a lot of people agreeing with you, so some of your footballing sense might rub off on me. I might chat a bit of nonsense now and then. I've not been online very much lately. I've had a lot of stuff going on. So when people are saying DCL's tweeting, maybe Trevor's said before Mopé's a mistake. We need a new forward line plus more in midfield. I mean, it would be nice, but I think you've got to take it in sort of staggered stages to get to that point. Dave said Onana lacks finishing ability, but I think that's part of his game that comes from, it's the youthful exuberance. He's got the raw product. I think we just need to sort of polish him to get the end product. And he says he's just a battering ram at the moment. Jeff is not with us tonight, Paul. Sorry about that. But yeah, Kevin, there you go. Onana needs coaching to improve his raw abilities. Dan, are you going to throw a team out there?
I'm, like I said, very confusing to get all the players in that I want to get. I would probably... I really like when Spurs... I thought when Spurs played that, like when Richarlison come off and Spurs put Basuma on and they played a 3-5-2, was it? Was it a 3-5-2 or 3-5-1? I forgot to get my players right here. I thought that looked decent with the wing backs. Do we go back to the wing backs here? That's the question for me. Like generally, I thought we got on we kept the ball a little bit better with the wing backs. We passed it a bit more from the back. Do we play with the three with the wing backs?
We didn't react quickly enough to Spurs changes, and they dominated us the minute they took Charleston off. We didn't have an answer for it.
So what do you think of Connor Cody, Tarkowski, Holgate, Mikalenko, Coleman on the right?
Yeah. How many? You putting 7 players at the back?
No, do you know where he plays the 3 with the wing backs?
Yeah.
So you're playing 3 centre backs with wing backs. Like Coleman as a wing back is risky, but and then playing your 3 centre midfields.
Doucouré,
Garner Gay. I'd stick with Garner Gay. Then you go Onana,
5-0.
Onana and Iwobi, and then you play Gordon and Mupé. Do you get where I'm coming from? That's
No, I mean, I think the interesting thing is though that we have to. I do inherently trust Lampard's assessment of our whole game and also players' abilities, because he is a footballer that he knows what's going on with his players, and he knows what it's like to need to control the entire game from the middle of the pitch. So he's always had a good view of it. And I do, his tactics during the match, we bring that into question when he's making substitutions. But I think if we're talking about introducing Garner, yes, it would be nice to see, but I don't think it's fair to make those kind of judgments if we're not seeing what's going on the training pitch and behind the scenes. If it truly is a case that players are justifying their start, I mean, their performance might say that they're not. So, but it could just be that you've got to bear in mind that there's always a second team. We're always playing in opposition.
Do you think that because James Garner has come on before Davis the last couple of times that he's ahead of him, like to play?
I think so. Yeah, it might be that.
I think it's because we were chasing both games, and Davis wasn't really a chaser. You might bring him on to hold on to what you've got, a lead or a draw, but we were losing both games. So, that's kind of what you'd expect Everton to do, to bring on a more attacking player.
Do you think we need to be a bit more physical?
Yeah, but we haven't got a lot of physicality in the side, apart from the centre halves.
I think we've got some strong players, but like you just said, Duffy Dan, the players that need to be physical are the players up top when we play the ball into them. And Mupé, Gray, and Gordon are not that strong, are they? Like, they're not known for their physicality.
I think the problem that I've highlighted before is that Damari Gray is not, for me, a 90-minute footballer. I don't see very much from. I know he scored a late goal against Forest, but let's be fair. He seems to fade out of games to some extent. But if that's the case, maybe he needs to occasionally come on at half time.
I definitely think I know the team that will start 100% next game. The team that's going to start is going to be quite simple. It's going to be Pickford in goals, Coleman right back, Cody, Tarkowski, Mikalenko, and then it's going to be a 4-3-3 like we've been playing quite a lot. It's going to be Onana, Garner Gay, and Iwobi, and then it's going to be, now Gordon's back, it's going to be Gordon on the left, Gray on the right, and Mupe up top. That's what it is going to be. And I doubt very much
you are
it's going to be any different to that.
Psychic toffee blue.
Yeah, well, I just think that's what I don't think. What do you think, Toffee? I don't think Lampard isn't going to play Coleman. I think Lampard likes Coleman as that right back position when Patterson's not there, and no one's going to get that right position off Coleman other than Patterson. I don't think I think he prefers. I know Holgate's back, but I think he prefers Coleman to Holgate right back.
Well, yeah, because Coleman owns that position.
Yeah, that's what I say. So a lot are saying don't play Coleman there, but I think deep down we all know that there's two players that play right back. Patterson is number one now, and Coleman, when Patterson's not playing, is going to be there. And I don't think we'll change the defenders. For me, Mikolenko, Lampard, he hasn't done nothing for Lampard to drop him. Lampard will still play him. And then Cody and Tarkowski, they're not going to play her. So that's going to be a defence, and I can't see him changing that.
I mean, but then the question becomes, do we play our usual tactics and hope that they win out and get a win? Or do we go for something completely different and go that, well, you know, that I think that becomes the issue of, do we go for something completely different and go?
Let's talk about what Blue Nose Dublin said. The next 6 games define our season. We need to start with 6 up front, 2 up front. 6. And he's basically, have we got 6 league games before the break? Is it 5 and a cup tie?
You probably know that better than anyone else. You're the man with all the answers.
No, okay.
You don't know.
We've got
Newcastle tomorrow, Palace on Saturday. Week after that, we're away to Fulham. Week after that, we're at home to Leicester. Then it's the league Bournemouth and Bournemouth. Yeah.
So it's 5 league games or 4 league games after tomorrow. Palace, Fulham, Leicester, Bournemouth. None of whom are doing okay. Leicester are doing quite badly. So,
explain what is, Kevin. Sorry, someone's just said. Sorry, I'll go back to that. What you just said there in a minute, because it is a good point. I'm not sure what is. Going for something completely different? It's whether we were talking there about whether we change the formation, whether we put someone different at right back, whether we have the wing backs. Kevin, I think that's the point I was making, is that do we? Because that's.
I think one thing I said, I did say Coleman's going to play there, and I think this is the reason that a lot of people are worried about the Coleman situation right back. I think when you play Tarkowski and Cody, Patterson, even though he's right back, is sometimes the sweeper. He's the pace, isn't he? Like, if someone runs past them, Patterson is the legs, he is the speed. Having 3 slow players in defence, it becomes a bit risky, doesn't it? That's why a lot of people debate on the Coleman position. But the thing is, sometimes with the last 2 games we've lost and we haven't played well, but you could probably play the same formation and team and play well. It'd be better against Newcastle, because Newcastle, they are a very, very good team. But let's face it, Spurs and Man U have got better players than Newcastle. Newcastle are harder. They'll put in more graft than Man U and Spurs. But I generally think that. How do you two feel? I think we've got more of a chance this Newcastle game than what we had the Spurs and the Man U game.
Yeah, I mean, we could sit here all night talking about this, couldn't we? It's. Yeah.
Well, we're going to find out tomorrow. I hope we win, because I'm very likely going. So I can't be bothered to come home on a loss. You know what I mean? I'm just going to stay there at the train station depressed if we don't win.
I'll leave that up there for people to take what they will from what's said. I mean, I do think there might be. You know what? I'm not even going to potentially bring the channel into disrepute. I wouldn't bring it up there if I didn't.
It's going to be. He's got them grafting, and he's got them. The difference is they are very confident as well, and they can pass the ball. That Trippier for them, I think he's a really good player. I don't like to say opposition players are good, but that Trippier is dangerous. You've got to watch him on free kicks.
I think I really upset quite a few Newcastle fans a few months ago. I went to the Premiership final between Munster and Saracens at St James's. Would that be? I don't even know how many years ago it was. Probably pre-COVID, and St James's Park is a death trap. It's quite a dangerous football ground. I mean, it makes ours look safe. You know, if you come out the Gallowgate end, there's some dangerous exit points which are too narrow, and it's very confusing inside the ground. So I just thought I'd mention what it's a lousy football ground. They've got one screen in the corner that was under Ashley. They might have improved it now. They've got a bit of money, and it's not the football ground that everyone thinks it is. I mean, it's a great location, but like so's Bramley Moor.
I've not been there before. This is going to be the first time. No, I've hit a lot of grounds, but Newcastle's the one I haven't.
Right.
I haven't been to, and now I live a different area. Newcastle's not far. I've got to go there. It's going to be interesting to see what it's like. And I've just got Newcastle's team up here that they played last game. Don't know whether they're going to play this team, but it's what they played last game. They play Byrne, you know, the Byrne from Brighton, the big lad, left back.
Yeah.
Botman centre back. They play a 4-3-3. Botman, he is good. He is, whatever his name is, Boatman, the new signing. He is good. I know he's good. That Shaw, he's not that good for me. And then they've got Trippier right back. I think you can, I think with Gray, and I know a lot of people are saying Gray don't deserve a chance, but fact is, he could come good a game. He could come good this game. He's fast. He did miss a chance, but he is fast. He's always got the speed. And I think if you get someone running at Byrne, either Gordon or Gray, that could be a disadvantage to them. And the same with Trippier. Trippier is very good, very technical, but he's getting on now. I don't think he'd want players running at him. Yeah, I don't think he'd want players running at him. So I do think the way forward in this game is to play off fast attacking players against this Newcastle team.
Well, which one do you think is his dad?
I'm older than Dan.
So
I'm older than Dan.
Who's Jan's dad?
That's
what they're saying I'm your dad, Jan. What the hell? Oh my God! People on this channel give me some.
What about Smiler, the guy that plays for Newcastle, Almiron, the guy with the funny face?
Yeah, well, this is what I was just going to say now. That completely knocked me off guard. That did Kevin Kraft. How old do you think I am, Kevin Kraft? I know I've shaved my head and all that, you know what I mean? But how old do you think I am? I thought I looked younger now I've shaved it.
Yeah, Sean Longstaff they've got.
The centre midfield, the free centre midfield is that, you'll say it properly because you're the man with words, Guimarães or whatever his name is, the Brazilian Guimarães. Guimarães. Yeah, he's really good. But the other two, Joe Linton and Longstaff, that's the three midfielders. Mm-hmm. Joe Linton, Guimarães and Longstaff.
Almiron, the guy
Almiron is basically our Gordon, and Murphy is our Gray. They're the two attacking up top with Wilson as striker. Wilson can be a shitbag, can't he? I'm not going to lie.
It's to hide the hair.
What did he say? I didn't even read them.
Honestly, sorry, you're making a fantastic point there, and I can't.
Wilson can be a bugger. He's against Everton. I think was it Bournemouth? Bournemouth players are buggers, ain't they? With King, was it, and all that lot.
Yeah. Right. On that note, are we gonna? Right. I mean, we've sort of done this to death, and I think more of it is the.
Have we hit the points that Ryan wanted to? Because I haven't even seen what he said to talk about. Have we hit everything?
Right, honestly, guys, I mean, I think we've sort of hit everything. They don't have Alan Saint-Maximin, who's a massive threat. They don't have that Isaac. Scores. Dave's in there straight away. He's gone for 1-1. Someone before said 0-0. We don't think we're going to get anything from this. Who was that?
0-0 sounds good to me.
Kevin's gone 0-0. Hate saying a draw, but he can't see us getting tough place to get something from. Dave's gone 1-1.
I actually think we'll get a 1-1 draw. I think we'll steal the draw and really piss them off with a late equaliser.
A header from Onana.
In the 88th minute,
yeah. I was honestly going to say I was going to say a 0-0. I thought it'd be a very controversial, very close game that could go either way. But I can't call it. I really can't call it, and I've given up. I kind of want to forfeit my responsibility to give score predictions for the rest of the season, or at least until after the World Cup, and we know who's fit and who's back, and we've actually got a full starting 11. I don't know. Yeah.
For me, if we don't, I know I'm always the freaking optimist, but if we don't spank this Newcastle team, I'm going to be more pissed off, because I was pissed off for the last 2 games. And if we don't go and do this, I want Everton to have a good win. We haven't had a good win yet, have we? Do you know where we were crap last season, but we had the odd game where we could win 3-1. And I want a game where I want a good game that makes me happy. I want Calvert-Lewin to play. I don't want him to score 2 goals or something. I want Gordon to come back and score. I want us to have a good game. I generally think that we're due a good win. But whether, like I say, Newcastle, very good team. You're not going to get that good win if you don't go out and freaking earn it. And we ain't come out playing with confidence. We need something to get our confidence up, don't we? Because I know it's early and I know we're better than what we was last season, but if you keep drawing, you can end up at the bottom of that table, because Brighton's ahead of us, Crystal Palace is ahead of us.
But we have had some well, I suppose it's just...
Well, we lost against Aston Villa. We drew against Forest. We've had some... I know we've had some hard games, but we have had some easy games, and we've ended up the position we are now. Fact is, Brighton are ahead of us, Crystal Palace are ahead of us, Bournemouth, who I thought was awful this season, are ahead of us now. It's the haircut, Dan. Bournemouth are ahead of us as well. So if we keep saying, we've had the hard games, Jan, but the thing is, if we don't play well now we've got these so-called easier games, then what do you say?
A penalty.
Then what do you say?
Leeds last season, perhaps.
Which one was that, sorry?
When did we last get a penalty away? Was it at Leeds?
Yes, but wasn't it 2 years before that?
I don't know. We don't get many.
Kevin, I love everyone on the channel. I don't know, everything Everton. I don't know whether that's 2-0 to us or 2-0 to them.
No, probably
I generally think we've got to beat these now to make up for the results that we've had. We need to crack on now. We need to get some points under our belt before this World Cup break.
Well, I think. Do you mind if I sort of close this off then with a poem that I've written in preparation for Wednesday, and it sort of sums up the spirit of the last few weeks of Everton.
Is it positive or is it like?
Well, I don't know. It'll make you laugh.
Yeah, that's all right.
Good.
For Christ's sake, Everton, you know you do me bloody head in. A weekly chore like mopping the floor or changing all me bedding. A broken record or merry-go-round, off we go again. When we're left bereft because the half-wit ref rewards a dodgy pen. So tell me, please, what Tierney sees when Pickford's made a save and Harry flops like a landed fish. A penalty? Behave. He's played the ball, a dumbass call. Then what's he meant to do? Oh, I forgot the narrative of hate the boys in blue. It's the wrong end of the shitty stick. It's not about the police. Bootlicking refs eluding justice, eels covered in grease, an outlet for frustration. I'd give their balls a punt. How can they face themselves? What a slippery, slimy runt. Oh, well, it's off to Tyneside to face the barcode boys, whose dirty, bloody money has funded their new toys. No doubt we'll get no favours. That's for home teams, of course. 12 pints in, get the ground, time to punch a horse. Guess what? The ref on Wednesday hails from Stockton on Tees. He started out his career in Teesside's junior leagues. Harrington's his name. I wonder if we'll take a hit. If, like his namesake's best invention, he's also full of shit. Can we call full time up near the Tyne, or would it cross the line to have some moral fibre and decry proceeds of crime? Maybe I'm mistaken, he's fair and he won't have a clanger, but it's still funny his granddad was a monkey hanger. Jeff Stelling understands me joke, so I won't take it back, even if this seems a dig or personal attack. No wonder I sound angry, my words barbed with their inflections, because everybody's heard about informal match directions. Favour them, punish us, how it always seems to go. I've mentioned this before, again, hypocrisy on show. So come on, Blues, let's make the most of this midweek game and come back back down with all 3 points. Please, it's driving me insane. You've got the goods, the grit, our hopes, a chance you've got to take. Avoid their hanging heads and hurt hearts to fill, not break. We're proud of everything you do when you give your most. Keep on fighting till full time. Don't give up the ghost.
Come on, you Blues.
All the fucking toughest.
Honestly, thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Dan and Dan, for joining. And I just want to see, excellent. Thanks.
I like that it got at the end positive. Come on, let's just do it, man. Come on, that's the way I was just saying it now. Let's just freaking have a good game. Let's just go for it. I'd rather us go for it and risk losing than sit back and bloody draw. I can't be arsed to draw. Go down. I played all this Rocky music last game, this, that, and the other, and we just sat behind the ball all game. Yeah. And I got nothing that I wanted. I want us to just play our game. At the end of the day, if you sit back and try and deal with the opposition, that's what you're going to do all game. If you go out to attack, you will attack.
Give them a game that they have to respond to. And that everything Everton, that is exactly the point. I want to see us take the game by the scruff of the neck and take, whether that means a change in tactics, whether that means the same 11 that played, whether that means just bringing Gordon in. I don't care, as long as we go there and we try. And even if we don't get it and we get a last minute goal or it's 0-0, I just want to see some positive. I'll take a point because it's away from home. I want to see 3 points at home and draws away. Because we're not going to, mid-table. I want to see us push on and have that sort of drive.
Cracking chance to beat Newcastle. This is though. I generally think it's not a better time.
Right,
Mr. Opto.
Yeah, I think we'll do. I really do think we'll beat them. And if we don't, I feel like it's a missed chance with the players they've got out.
Right, all the regulars, some new faces, everyone, thanks for joining us. Do like and subscribe, hit that button, and you'll get updates all the time from Dan, Jeff, me, my dad, arguments all day long. I try and be polite with my dad on the channel, but Toffee Dan.
Thank you.
Toffee Blue, Dan.
Oh, no, I need to change my name, don't I? I'm going to call myself like a different name, I think.
It's goodbye from him.
Goodbye from me.
We have got the best. We have got the best names though. Dan is best name around. So up the fucking toughest.
Love you all, guys. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye.